It's because they don't take time to read and understand issues the way they are. And I want to restrain myself from being very descriptive in a negative manner on this particular issue. There is a ruling by Justice Lenaola when he was in the High Court. I mean, go to the records and read it. There is a ruling by Justice Lenaola prescribing how you would regain your citizenship when you had renounced it. Because in the old constitution, we did not have a provision where you would be a citizen of two countries. And many countries insisted that for you to be given citizenship of another country, you had to renounce your own citizenship in another country, in your country. So then this matter was so contested, it went to court. There is a High Court ruling directing the Ministry of Interior and the Immigration Department, literally providing a prescription on how that would be done. So the question is this: you act this way, you violate that ruling. You act that way, you violate it, you have problems with the ruling. We ourselves came up with a very simple form at the Department of Immigration to enable Kenyans who had renounced their citizenship because of those challenges of the 80s and so on, to gain citizenship very easily. The form will take you probably a minute and a half to fill. By the time that drama was unfolding here at the airport, about 200,000 Kenyans had already gained their citizenship through that simple little form, that is some miserable little form that people would just sign and go along with it. Now, this brother travels on a Canadian passport all the way to Nairobi. And when he gets there, he says he wants to enter using an ID card. Of course, it's astounding. Of course, you know yourself that cannot happen. Then the government goes all the way, including moving your house to the airport, so that we could give him the passport. The director of immigration himself and everybody else. And he refuses to sign that little funny, miserable form. And then the government does everything, including sending former Prime Minister Raila Odinga to the airport to persuade him, and then talking to the Canadian High Commission in Nairobi because he had a Canadian passport, asking the Canadian High Commissioner to extend consular services to him. So in case he feared that he would be arrested, since he arrived here on a Canadian passport, he could not be arrested because of that. So we told the Canadian High Commission, extend consular services to him. We'll give him a passport as long as he clears with a Canadian passport from the airport. Within 24 hours, he will have his passport. He refuses to do those kinds of things. You know, we are spending time as a country on an individual. Clearly, isn't it obvious the challenges we're dealing with as it is? Why on earth would you refuse to give someone a passport when already 200 and something thousand Kenyans had already regained their citizenship? So it is